Thank you for joining us tonight for our What to Expect, August 2021. It is for the school year that begins this fall for school year 2021-22. Thank you. Welcome. We're very happy that you're here. I'd like to start out with something really uplifting. It's just planning what will happen when just in your regular week. So what happens each day, each week, is that your child will enjoy playtime and will enjoy circle time to get together, opportunities to be together and opportunities for independent play. They will have circle time. They will have story time. They will sing. They will recite poetry. They will write in their journals each week, taking turns across the course of the week. And we want to know how will you be kept up to date now that there's no co-oping. So each week the teacher writes a week in review, which is a reflective practice to tell you what happened during the week. It will include things like stories that the children are telling, play that they're engaging with. It will include perhaps conflict resolution that we're working on as a group, the things that we're learning together, because of course the teachers and the children are learning together. So in that, there will also be a little bit of a forward look to find out about what jobs your child will have the next week once we start the jobs. We have to get the children settled first, but then once that picks up, you will find that information in there as well, as long as the stories that we're telling, the poems that we're reciting, the songs that we're singing, or at least the songs that we formally sing, because there's lots of singing anyway. One of the things that you want to just keep in mind is that weather influences and changes our programming. It just does. So when it's raining, we will pursue different activities than if it was sunny. So obviously there are some things that we can do in any weather that may take place, but if there's like uh, uh, as you can see, these children are painting in the snow, so painting can happen at any time. But I just want to give you a heads up that when it rains, we often leave the school because raining is the least comfortable thing. So we want to keep on the move in rainy weather and perhaps sometimes in cold weather. Here's some reminders for you. You want to make sure that you sign up for a virtual tour with your child's teacher. Those reminders have been sent to you. You'll want to send an image to mark your child's coat hook, and that could be an image that they choose. It could also be a link to an image that's online. It could be a picture of themselves. It could be a picture of the family. It's really up to you what you send in, just so that your child can form a connection when they walk in. They'll see their symbol, they'll see that photograph, and it gives them a little bit of connection to home to help that home to school transition. The third thing you want to do is complete the COVID-19 health forms, especially that you need to start it now because you need to track your temperature, your child's temperature for 7 days. The instructions are on that sheet in the reminder, and it's that you will take the temperature at the same time every day of when you would normally leave for school. So you want to get into the practice of taking your child's temperature before you leave for school, because you do not want to arrive at school to find out that your child has a temperature. It's not, the child's not going to like being turned back around because usually they feel okay. But if they have a temp, keep them home. So the biggest part of your day is going to be that arrival time, and especially arrival on the first day. So if you look here on the parking lot, how we use it is that the parking lot is reserved for staff. And a lot of times you may find that empty. It is not a signal to pull in. It means that our teachers either walk to school, or maybe there'll be one car, or they're parked someplace else. It always has to be kept empty. On the parking lot, you'll see paw prints, and you will also see blue dots. The entrance to the school is, when you're looking at the school, it's to the left. And you want to choose a blue dot and kind of stay there as your teacher signals you forward. So because there will be a health check, there will be a check-in with the child, which actually is a really lovely thing that we do now, is we formally check in with each child as they walk in through the gate. And it's just really nice. Before they may have like gotten busy right away and started playing, but this way we really get this lovely check-in one-on-one with the kids. Now, as the children start to know each other, they'll want to connect. They'll run to each other to greet each other, but we have to remember that we want to try to get them in. So just practice staying on those blue dots. Talk about the blue dots. We do as well. The program, we ourselves use those blue dots for other occasions, so the children are very familiar with them. And you'll just want to just keep people as separate as possible. Leaving is a little bit fuzzier because, of course, we've established that everyone's healthy. Parking location. So if you can see, there is no parking in the parking lot. And if you're looking up in this photograph towards the left, you'll see a little bit of a gravel driveway. That is our neighbor's driveway. We cannot, under any circumstances, ever block it, even for a moment. So if you have this thing where you're thinking, oh, I'll just pull up and someone will help my kid get out of the car, you just can't. There's no stopping in front of their driveway. And there's actually no parking on Flower Avenue above that point. So anywhere from that gravel driveway towards your left is no parking. The sign is quite hidden in our neighbor's bushes, which we cannot trim. It's not our job to trim these, and nor is it our job to talk to our neighbor about trimming them. The city hopefully will come by and trim the bushes, but it's not our job to talk to them about that. Oh, I'm sorry, not the city, the state. It's a state road. So to your right of this photograph, in front of our free library, there is parking. So you can park there, but mostly you'll want to park on Houston and on Hudson, which are roads around the corner, and walk up to the school, taking care to share the sidewalk. And this is really important, that we are a part of a neighborhood. We share the sidewalk. We share our sidewalk and our parking lot with children being picked up and dropped off for Rolling Terrace Elementary School. We want to take care to be a part of the neighborhood. And if there are people walking, our neighbors are walking along the sidewalk, we want to make sure that they have plenty of room to walk along as well. So the physical distancing, again, we want to just really make sure that we're paying attention to that. And it's, as you know, 6 feet. We're probably all used to it. The children measure it in 2. I always talk to them about superhero arms, that they have arms that stretch out. And if their friends also have their superhero arms, that's pretty much where we're looking at it. We are required to wear masks. This is staff, children, and all the adults dropping off children or picking them up from the front of school must have masks on. So tuck a mask into your car so you always have it available, or into your stroller, or as you leave the house, put it into your pocket so that you have it ready for the front of the school. These are samples of the QR codes. I have blurred them out so that you can't really see them for this recording. These are posted on the steps at the front of the school at arrival time and pickup time for the class that is in session. So at the beginning of each class, you will want to take your smartphone and hold it in the position of this QR code. It will take you to the QR touchless attendance with Jovial, and you will sign your child in using the name of the grown-up picking up or dropping off the child. If you need a name added to that, please email your classroom teacher so that they can add that name there. This is really important. It doesn't get done before you leave the house. It doesn't get done after you get back. It doesn't get done an hour later. The next day, it has to be done at drop-off and again at pickup. The purpose of this is twofold. One, it is a formal way to check in with you about health. So if your child is healthy and showing none of those symptoms, please don't email your teacher to ask them, should my child stay home? If your child is exhibiting those symptoms in the way described in your handbook and on this QR check-in, your child should stay home. So you don't need to email your teacher to ask if they should. You should just email your teacher to let them know that they have these symptoms, and then we can advise you what next steps are. So that's the one purpose of it, is to do this formal check-in with the health. But the second reason is actually the more important reason, and that is to tell us and tell whoever is checking who is bringing your child to school and who is picking your child up, what time they dropped off your child, and what time they picked them up. This is an agreement that we're all holding, that we're keeping track of where children are. It's a state required mandate. You have to do it. And it has to be done at pickup and it has to be done at drop off. Not before or after or when you remember it. It has to be done every single class session. We really appreciate it if you take this on and follow it through, and we will be checking each day, but we don't want to have to check each day. We want to trust that we're all doing this. Thank you. A big part of the year last year before we started this was the drop off at the gate. I am a long, long. I've been doing cooperative schooling since I first started teaching, and so that's the only way I knew, is that the gate was wide open, the doors are wide open. Not only that, but some of the parents were taught to how to stay, or I'm sorry, the children's grown-ups were taught how to stay at the school. So it was a real departure for me last year and for the other teacher to say goodbye and hello at the gate. But it really is a measure of trust, treasure and trust, and measure of time. These are all the measures. So it's like you really have to go back to this. I myself was a parent who didn't want to let go. I wanted to, which is why I was drawn to the parent cooperative environment in the first place. I wanted to be with my child. I didn't put them down. I wanted to see everything that they did. I wanted to be part of everything that they did. So in this, I want you to trust and know that I treasure your child. I feel the same way you do. And so this becomes a measure of time then. So it's like we go back to this measure of trust, treasure, trust, and time. What happens is that to say goodbye, children are mathematical thinkers. They want to have a pattern. They want to understand the completeness and the way things come back and how to become comfortable in their space. So when we say goodbye, we have to understand that you cannot say hello without a goodbye. There's a pattern. There's a pattern of goodbye, hello, hello, goodbye, goodbye, hello. And usually when we introduce this idea to children, it makes that transition easier. Of course, it's always hard, it's not always easy. Sometimes it's hard. And if you have a child that needs different introductions to transitions, your teacher does have ideas. So all we have to do is we have to get to that point of walking through the gate, trusting and knowing that there's a space and time that's going to happen before the hello comes back. So let's work together to help this along. So we talked a lot about this actually at the meeting, and I want to revisit it here as I'm doing re-recording this for you today. Is that you just really want to get familiarize yourself with the concept and the way to conduct health checks at home. So the health forms actually will really outline this. And so one of the things that one of the parents said is that you need to become familiar with those symptoms, because she herself reflected on the symptoms last year and realized that she should go ahead and get a COVID test, and it ended up being positive. Those symptoms are something that you should just familiarize yourself with. Now, they are the symptoms of other things as well, which is why it's really great that doctors are doing virtual visits now, and you can call them up and get their advice. But it's important to know that the reason why that those health checks and the list of symptoms are there is because if you are exhibiting them, we as a community have agreed that we will take every precaution and go ahead and keep our children home until we clear up what those symptoms are, or if they are related to COVID, or what they're related to. We want to take care of the children at the school and the grown-ups in their lives that have compromised immunity and also are susceptible to lung infections. And so we just want to take care of them, even separate from COVID. We want to keep COVID clear, and we also want to keep everyone safe. So the COVID health forms serve as a daily reminder. You get into the habit of kind of looking at your child, checking how they're acting. Are they lethargic? Are their eyes, like all the whole list of everything? But you'll start to really get well versed in what is happening at home, and then it doesn't come into school, and we don't have to turn your child away at the gate. As I said earlier in the presentation, turning away a child at the gate is just so hard for the kid, because they were prepared for coming. Even if they do feel bad, it usually makes them feel worse, and it's just better to go ahead and keep them home and get that health check process and uh, all tidy before you start school and ongoing as the school year progresses. So, what should you bring that first day of school? I mean, I have hope and joy as number three, but we're all hoping that hope and joy comes with us first day. So, first minute. So, but the thing that you want in your backpacks that will be taken out or possibly carried in their backpack is a backup of warm weather clothes. You don't want to be sending in woolens, and you don't want to be sending in rain gear. At this point in the school year, it's very warm. What will happen is we will store those warm weather clothes, backups, and their masks, and put, if they need them, pull-ups and wipes in a labeled bag, name labeled with their name. We'll store those inside the school, and when the season changes, we will bring all that stuff out and one of the pickup sessions with an alert via email, and you will be able to pack that stuff up and bring in the next season's gear. Now, it's just really important to tell you that we do have a lending library of clothes, which includes everything: socks, underwear, rain gear, rain boots, snow boots, mittens, gloves. All of those things are at the school, so your child will not be left adrift in case things are forgotten. So just lift that stress away from you. We have enough stress in our lives that there's a lot of things for us to worry about, but that doesn't have to be one of them. Now, the other thing that didn't get on the list, or I don't think that it got on the list, is that I recommend that if you come across gardening gloves, children's size gardening gloves, these are great to have in your child's backpack and just available to them. It is just a simple fact that when a child is practicing in warm weather with something like garden gloves and putting those on, when it becomes cold weather and they have to put on gloves, they already know how to do it. So we were quite successful last year getting children used to the idea of garden gloves. Plus, the garden gloves give you just like a whole nother added layer of interaction with the environment. So it's like they can play differently with those garden gloves than they get a lot of practice touching things through materials, but also it's just fun. So that's something that if you do find out there, you can go ahead and pick up. I might have one or two pairs at school, but that's usually something that we don't have, because the children, once they have them, really love them. In your backpack, you want to have a snack. Some of us talked during the meeting the other night about the idea of snack. I called all of these snacks lunches because I really did. The children were hungry; they were very hungry. The twos class, they need a little bit extra help, because in thinking about what you should pack them, because you want it easy to eat. So no soups, no dips, nothing like that, because that takes too long to eat, because your 2-year-old will want to eat the food from the start to the finish. Until your 2 and 3-year-old, they want to eat all the food. So you'll see that through the seeds class into the leaves class, you'll see that they really want to eat. Now the tracks class in the afternoon, we really do view this as lunch. If you send in a meal, you're probably like a sandwich or a like leftover pasta or leftover beans and rice. Like that's what you want to send. You want to send something hearty. And when you get into the winter months, you're really going to need some hearty food for those kids. So we'll serve in the cold weather. We'll serve warm teas, but you're welcome to put warm tea into your thermos. You're welcome to put ice water in for warm weather. Put in ice water. And during these hot months, you'll want to send in a large water bottle. We are able to refill with cold filtered water, but you just want to think about actually sending in a large water bottle, because they'll need that water through the course of the day. So we get back to hope and joy. We circle around hope and joy. We really want to kind of look for this, and that's one of the practices that we began last year: is full body, whole heart, a whole brain, embracing of good moments. So it's a practice that we have at school that we hope that we can teach your child to adopt over the course of the year and share with you at home. So I wanted to start the presentation with the what we could look forward to, and I think that when we talk about co-oping, we know that we can't do any co-oping for the beginning of the school year. We were able to do the big clean, and with everyone masked, and we did the facilities and the tracks team took a lot of extra care to limit their the numbers inside the school as they cleaned, and they did such a beautiful job setting up the school. It is lovely. I just love it. And it gave the families, the children's grown-ups an opportunity to see the school, which they haven't had. And so we'd like to do the same thing for at least the November or December clean with the leaves class so that you have an opportunity to come in. So we're all hoping that, of course, the COVID, the Delta decreases as opposed to increases. And but in the meantime, we have to uh, forego co-oping until review of possibly starting it in January. So we just want to kind of do this forward thinking about it. But at this point, we're just going to try as hard as we can to keep you involved with teacher check-ins on a monthly basis, the happy hour. So if you have any topics that you would like, or like if your child came home and described something and you want to know more about it, we can possibly take some video of it to share with the family so that you can kind of stay in touch with what's going on, and or any topics that you want to have reviewed. We just want to make sure that you keep in touch with your child's teacher so that they know what you want to know. So it's like we can sometimes reflect on our own practices of things that we are reflecting on, so that we can create a positive environment for all of us. But we won't know what you want to know unless you let us know. So just keep in touch with your teacher and tell them whatever you need, ask any questions. So thank you for joining us. And if you do have any questions moving forward, please don't hesitate. There is a who to contact and why list on the member support resource, the main homepage, which you can find, so that if you have questions about billing, you'll know who to talk to. If you have questions about admissions, you'll know who to talk to, or any of the other things. It'll go through all of the reasons, ideas that you can think of. And of course, you can always just email the co-presidents or myself, and of course your child's classroom teacher. So thank you so much for joining. Have a great day, and I'm looking forward to that first day of school.